In the wealthy estate of Chief Adideo, a man of immense wealth and influence, his family gathered to celebrate his 65th birthday. It was a grand occasion, complete with servants attending to the guests, extravagant food, and lavish decorations. Among the attendees were his two sons, Adikana, the eldest, and Olimide, the youngest, both with their respective families. Adikana was accompanied by his wife, Aisha, and their teenage daughter, Tiniola. Olimide came with his wife, Funmi, and their young son, Keod. During the evening's dinner, Chief Adideo stood up to make an announcement. His voice boomed with pride as he said, "Today is not just a day for celebration but for new beginnings. I have married again." The family was stunned. Sitting beside him was his new wife, a beautiful woman named Miriam, who had once been one of his mates. The room fell silent. Chief Adideo then took his late wife's necklace, a family heirloom of great sentimental value, and placed it around Miriam's neck. Adikana, the eldest son, was furious. His face twisted with rage as he stormed out of the dining hall, retreating to his room. There, he found solace in illegal drugs, his mind clouding with anger and despair. Meanwhile, Olimide, unable to contain his disbelief, went to confront his father privately. In Chief Adideo's bedroom, Olimide demanded an explanation. "How could you marry a maid, father? And how dare you place Mama's necklace on her?" Chief Adideo, calm and firm, responded, "Miriam is my wife now, and you will respect her as such. This is my decision, Olimide, and it's final." Back in the dining hall, Aisha, Adikana's wife, took it upon herself to approach Miriam. With disdain in her eyes, she insulted the new wife. "You think because you're wearing that necklace, you can replace Chief's late wife? You're just a maid, and you'll always be one." Miriam, heartbroken by the cruel words, quietly excused herself and went outside to get some fresh air. She stood in the garden, trying to calm her nerves, when she heard a scream. Turning around, she saw her new husband, Chief Adideo, falling from the balcony to his death. The entire household was thrown into chaos. Chief Adideo's sudden death sent shockwaves through the family. His funeral was held with great ceremony, but the family made it clear that Miriam was not welcome at their table. They treated her as an outsider, a mere maid who had no place in their ranks. Despite her marriage to Chief Adideo, they refused to acknowledge her. Determined to uncover the truth, Miriam asked the police to investigate her husband's death, suspecting foul play. However, she was informed that Olimide had already closed the case, declaring it an accident. Feeling powerless, she knew the family didn't value her or care about the truth. Meanwhile, Olimide sought answers about his father's will. He approached the family lawyer, Mr. Bode, and asked to see the will. The lawyer refused, stating that the will could only be read in front of all the family members. But Olimide wasn't one to take no for an answer. He had secretly recorded Mr. Bode's daughter engaging in illegal activities and used the video to blackmail the lawyer. Reluctantly, Mr. Bode gave in and showed Olimide the contents of the will. Olimide was furious when he learned that his father had divided the estate equally among the family. He demanded changes, pressuring Mr. Bode to allocate 80% of the inheritance to him. The lawyer, fearing for his daughter, complied. The next day, the lawyer gathered the family to announce the contents of the will. As expected, the announcement caused chaos. Adikana was livid, and the entire family descended into arguments. Amid the fighting, Olimide quietly assumed control of his father's business, using his new position to dominate the household. Olimide's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He mistreated the house staff, abusing his power at every turn. One day, after learning that one of the maids was pregnant with his child, Olimide flew into a rage and beat her mercilessly. The maid, fearing for her life, fled the estate. Meanwhile, Miriam had begun to suspect that Olimide had a hand in his father's death. She visited Adikana and shared her suspicions, but he was dismissive at first. Olumide may be selfish, but he wouldn't kill father, Adikana scoffed. However, as he thought about it, he realized how convenient everything had been for Olumide since their father's death, the closed investigation, the manipulation of the will. Slowly, doubt began to creep into Adikana's mind. In a bid to solidify his newfound wealth and power, Olumide decided to throw a grand party to celebrate his position as the head of the family business. He invited foreign investors and wealthy associates, hoping to impress them and secure lucrative deals. During the party, he planned to project a video montage of his father's accomplishments as a tribute. However, as the projector flickered to life, something else appeared on the screen, a live stream of Adikana's daughter, Tiniola, having an affair with Olumide's son. The room erupted in disgust and shock. Adikana and Olumide were both humiliated. In the aftermath, Adikana's son stormed out of the house in a fit of rage, only to be involved in a fatal accident later that night. The tragedy left the family further broken. Desperate to regain his image, Olumide invited a foreign investor for a private meeting on a yacht. Adikana, sensing an opportunity to confront his brother, insisted on joining them. As the night wore on, the brothers shared drinks, reminiscing about their father. But as they prepared to return to shore, Olumide began to feel dizzy. Realizing too late that he had been drugged, he stumbled to his feet, only to be pushed overboard by Adikana. With Olumide gone, Adikana returned to the estate, assuming control of the family business and kicking out Olumide's widow and son. He mistreated the staff, continuing the cycle of abuse and power his brother had started. One day, Adikana summoned Mr. Bode, the lawyer, demanding to know why his father had left everything to Olumide. The lawyer, no longer afraid, revealed the truth. He explained how Olumide had blackmailed him and forced him to change the will. Then, Mr. Bode showed Adikana the true video will of Chief Adideo. To Adikana's shock, the will had originally left everything to Mariam, the woman he had dismissed as a mere maid. As the truth sunk in, Adikana realized he had been played. Enraged, he confronted Mariam. But instead of fear, Mariam smiled, a devilish, knowing smile. "You thought you could destroy me, didn't you?" she whispered. "You and your brother both. But you see, this was never about money. This was about justice." Mariam revealed her true story. Her best friend, also a maid, had been driven to suicide by years of abuse at the hands of wealthy families like Adikana's. Determined to avenge her friend, Mariam had orchestrated everything. She seduced Chief Adideo, won his heart, and married him. On the night of his birthday, she spiked his drink with Adikana's drugs, causing him to hallucinate. When Olumide came to confront him, the sound of the door startled Chief Adideo, and he fell to his death. Before Adikana could react, sirens wailed outside. "I've already sent the video of you pushing your brother off the yacht to the police," Mariam said calmly. "It's over." Adikana fled, abandoning everything. Weeks later, he sat in a dingy bar, watching news reports of the manhunt for him. His mind spiraled, haunted by his brother's death and his father's betrayal. Drunk and desperate, he was recognized by a group of men he had wronged in the past. Before he could escape, they cornered him and stabbed him to death. Mariam, now free from the family's grip, sold the estate, gave generous amounts of money to all the staff, and left Nigeria to start a new life abroad. The legacy of the once powerful Adideo family crumbled, but Mariam had finally gotten her revenge.